What's up, everybody? It's time for the O Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, CW. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to hit that bell on YouTube and subscribe to this podcast, this very one, on your favorite podcasting app. If O Wrestling Podcast doesn't show up on your favorite app, please drop me a comment on any YouTube video or on our contact page and let me know which app, and I will get that podcast on there for you. Today, we're talking about protecting your finish. Super important. Wrestling finishers. How hyped do you get when someone hits a finisher? Oh, you get super hyped. And then how demoralizing is it when someone kicks out of it? And I mean kicks out of it when not a false finish in a huge WrestleMania match, right? I'm talking about a random Dynamite match or a random SmackDown match or random Raw match where, Chad Gable is poised to win and he hits the Chaos Theory and then they kick out, right? It's sad. It makes you sad. And there's just an idea in professional wrestling that you have to protect your finish. And I was watching the Chris Van Vliet Instagram feed. He had on Baron Corbin, and Baron was talking about how he spoke with The Undertaker one time, and The Undertaker told him to protect his finish. Don't let people kick out of your finisher. And for the longest while, Baron Corbin had a streak of matches, the streak wasn't the matches he won with his finish. The streak was people kicking out of his finish. No one had kicked out of his finish. And it was a thing. There was little rumblings in, I think it was NXT or the main roster when he got called up. He was hitting people with the, what was it called? End of Days? I can't remember the name of his finish, but he was hitting everybody with it, and everybody was going down with it, and no one was kicking out. And that was because The Undertaker told him, hey, man, don't let anybody kick out of your stuff. So in the clip, which you should go watch on Chris Van Vliet's Instagram feed, he mentions talking to John Cena when they wrestled, and he said they met up to discuss the match, and Baron said, I only want, two things? He's like, I don't want to kick out of your finish, and I would really appreciate it if you didn't kick out of mine. And John Cena said, done. I mean, that's great work right there, right? That's a good conversation to have with someone before you wrestle. And it got me thinking, first of all, it got me thinking this is an episode because I have strong feelings about protecting finishes. And second, I was like, well, if you are there in the back about to, put together a match with one of your peers, shouldn't that be an established thing? I'm not going to kick out of your finish. You're not going to kick out of mine. When you're trying to build yourself as a star, when you're trying to build your reputation in the ring, it goes a long way to win a match with an effective finish, right? So, for example, right now, LA Knight's, Blunt Force Trauma. I don't think anyone's kicked out of it on the main roster yet. The more they build LA Knight, the less likely it is anyone will kick out of that finish. But if you're the Creed brothers who debuted on Raw and you have a finish, and you're about to go over, you get together with the people you're about to wrestle and you say, look, we're going over. I'd appreciate it if we, finish the match with our finish. You have to build your finish to be dangerous. Now, if someone else is going over on you and you're having this, you're working out this match, all you say is, look, I'm going to go for my finish. I'm not going to be able to complete that circuit, let's say. I'm not going to get you. You're going to scramble out. You're going to do whatever. You're going to reverse it, and you're going to hit me with yours, and then we're going to end the match kind of thing, right? So you have to build a story of you going for your finish, and then if you get it, it's devastating. But if you don't get it and you get reversed and they hit you with theirs, they win, right? That should be the story told in the ring. Bret Hart could tell that story really, really well. He always did moves that would set up the sharpshooter. He was always looking to hurt your legs, hurt your back. He was trying to put pressure on the limbs that he was going to attack with the sharpshooter, so that when he locked it in, not only were you fatigued and you couldn't break out, but he had already done the work, so it should be a quick finish, right? But if you break out of the sharpshooter, what could he do? You have to tell that story around your finish. Remember, wrestling is all about storytelling. They're trying to tell you something in the ring, right? A great match, a really, really good match, is telling you a story. It's either the culmination of a long form storytelling, like we talked about in another episode, or it's a microcosm of professional wrestling, right? It's like there's a story happening from bell to bell. Someone is working towards something. It's not just a pin, right? It's the finish. It's the top rope move. Like go watch Ricochet's matches. He's always working to get you in a position where he can dive on top of you. Everything he does is in service of that. All the backflips and stuff is to disorient you, and then when he knocks you down, he wants to go to the top rope. He wants to land on top of you, right? Stone Cold was always looking for the stunner. Well, actually, yeah. No, he wasn't. He wasn't. He was looking for the beer. I'm trying to think of another person who's spear. Edge, perfect example. Edge was always looking for that spear. He was always crawling into the corner of the ring, looking to angle himself to get you. You know, just watch some of the greats in the ring, and they're trying to tell you a story. They're trying to get somewhere, right? Sometimes it's not even just the finish. Sometimes it's just, they want to attack a limb. They want to, exact revenge. But the finish story is the easiest story to tell to make a great match, right? Because every piece tends to fall into place. If your finish is a DDT, right? It would make sense for you to attack the head, put the person in headlocks, just batter them in the face so that when you slam their head into the ground, they have a instant concussion. If you have a finish that is some sort of body slam, you're going to work the body. You just want to kind of tell that story so that people in the ring are like, oh, he's going for, whatever. Some finishes you can't really work that up. So back to LA Knight, he does that elbow drop. That elbow drop doesn't lead into the blunt force trauma. He just kind of uses that as the people's elbow to the rock bottom kind of thing. It's a reversal, right? Rock did the rock bottom and then he hit the people's elbow. LA Knight does the elbow, which then leads into the blunt force trauma. Wow, he really is doing a big homage to the early 2000s. Anyway, once Baron Corbin said, protect your finish, I was like, well, young up-and-coming wrestlers need to, one, come up with a dope finish. And it doesn't have to be flashy. It just has to look devastating. I think that's a key to a wrestling finisher. It has to look like you've completely damaged the person. And if you are putting someone else over, don't go for your finish. Wrestle the match. Tell the story of you looking for your finish and getting blocked at every turn. And then maybe you get desperate and you just go for it. And they reverse you and they hit you with theirs and the match is over. There is a great long-term story in a young wrestler debuting, hitting a really good finish, winning, and then having a long streak of losses as he tries to get back to that finisher. Like he tries to work these guys to get his finisher and not being able to get it, so that when he does get it, people freak out and cheer. It's a story where you're like, we want to see that finish again, but he keeps failing before he gets to it. Man, now I want to watch someone do that. Who would be great at that kind of storytelling? I don't know. Anyway, let me know in the comments who could do a story like that. I'd appreciate the conversation. Thank you so much for listening. My throat is going haywire with this weather change. Thanks again. Subscribe to the podcast, and don't you ever forget.
I'm your friend, but if I ever see you in the ring, I can beat you. Don't you know? Yeah.